strapped in up on that roof.
Stamps with the lead by 2. Here's Noel Devine. Up across the 25-yard line. And Anthony Calvillo finally gets a chance to go on offense in the second half.
Yeah, aided by penalty, but a good drive for Kevin Glenn. A couple of short yardage plays, and he takes the lead. Interesting to hear Matt Dunnigan talk about how the way that Anthony Calvillo has had to adjust his throwing motion is actually possibly, if it's even possible, added velocity to his throws.
Well, he did mention to us accuracy was not an issue in practice this week. Slings that to his buddy Brian Bratton, and a catch is made in front of Fred Bennett across the 30-yard line.
And I should say, not a surprise at all that our colleague Matt Dunnigan says that Anthony should play and stay in the game. A guy in his career that
never came out.
Yeah, never came out.
And the legend of 91, when nobody thought he'd
broken collarbone and bones all rattling around, and he was in a hotel lobby warming up, so he needed to go, and you weren't getting him out of that game.
Look at Torrey Davis there again. And has he had a night? 98 to defensive tackle. And he gets to the quarterback and makes Calvillo feel some pain.
Inside low, playing against some veterans in there, and Scott Flory and Andrew Woodruff. And you're right, he is having a night.
Sack for Davis, who did not have one last year.
Amazing, too, how a nice drive offensively, a scoring drive offensively, can just lift the entire team. And you could see that Torrey Davis was just building on that momentum that Kevin Glenn had established.
No question, it's behind the Stampeders. The momentum here in this third quarter. Line drive. Larry Taylor and Kyrisi Bear able to pull him down. 8-yard return, 42-yard kick. And Taylor thought there could have been a flag on that.
Hasn't been able to really take advantage of that just yet. He was in on that special teams tackle, pulling down Larry Taylor, and they're playing him down low a lot. He was teammates with Kevin Glenn back in 2007 when they went to the Grey Cup.
Kevin Glenn's hit on 11 of his last 12 passes. Fakes to Cornish, rolling, dumps it off. And Chip Cox will wrestle down the receiver, Johnny Forzani.
I bring that up because I had a nice conversation with, and he looks a little sore getting up there. Nice conversation with Kyrisi Bear yesterday in the walkthrough. Talking about he's familiar with Kevin Glenn, knows what he likes to do. Says he really likes this defense, and he says as they get playing together longer, it's really going to come together. I think it already has started here tonight.
2nd and 4. Rush on over the middle, a completion, and Nick Lewis has a first down. 7th first down of this third quarter for Calgary. They only had 5 in the first half.
Yeah, and I was going to say that. And just as this defense is starting to come together for Montreal, Calgary in this third quarter, and Kevin Glenn is now starting to feel it. So now the challenge is, how do you disrupt that if you're Jeff Reinbold? Do you send pressure, or do you try and make him be patient?
Nick Lewis's third catch delivers the first down. A lot of steamboats and wide open over the middle mark. Ray McDaniel shakes the tackle and is down to the 15-yard line. Didn't play against the Alouettes in week 1, has replaced Landon Talley the past 2 weeks.
Marquay McDaniel, it's not always about full speed running routes. Watch how he gears it down. He comes across the middle, takes that jam, turns, gears it down right there, and just doesn't run into the next zone of coverage that was occupied by Chip Cox. It's not always about running full speed through the middle. Sometimes you have to be smart, play from the shoulders up.
30-yard pickup, another Calgary first down. The ball and a punishing hit. Cornish got the ball back after Gerald Brown knocked his helmet off.
Gerald Brown isn't big, but he's playing big. He's thrown it in there a couple times.
We've seen that John Cornish helmet pop off more than a few times already this year. Better tighten it up against his Alouette defense.
Yeah, well, he better tighten it up for the new rules, too. If he was able to keep his feet, he would not have been able to advance the football with his helmet off.
And that was a catch. That ball never hit the ground, so turned out to be a circus catch by John Cornish.
Bottom line, Calgary back on the doorstep.
Second down, there's Cornish, and he's taken down by Brouillette. Just wondering, though, the catch was finally made with the helmet off. Does that, in the new rules, should that play have been allowed?
You know what? I'm going to have to get back to you on that one, partner, because
as soon as the helmet comes off,
that's an interesting wrinkle. As soon as the helmet of the ball carrier comes off, the play is then whistled dead. So if you got the ball and your helmet comes off, the play is over then.
In this case, Calgary is stopped, and so it becomes just a point of debate, but we'll get a ruling on that new rule.
And I know Tom Higgins, the head of officiating, is listening, so I'm going to check my BlackBerry.
And Rennie Paredes hits the short field goal. Oh, we'll may get a ruling when we come back.
Well, you make an interesting point here, and I've checked my BlackBerry. Haven't heard from Tom yet, but this is interesting because if John Cornish doesn't have possession yet, then this is not a complete pass until he lands on his back, and now he doesn't have his helmet when he does catch it, so would be not eligible to catch it without a helmet on. So
it's an amazing play.
It didn't change the outcome because they ended up being held short and kicking a field goal anyway. But it is interesting with the new rule and something that we'll actually have to check on. That's a wrinkle to the rule that I don't think anyone has brought up yet.
Might not even be in the case book.
Yeah, so. You're right.
John Simpson, Malik Jackson go to the sidelines as the pass defense comes on for Calgary as Calvillo looks at 2nd and 10. They've lost the momentum in this game and lost the lead. Calvillo comes down out of the reach of S.J. Green, incomplete. And another 2 and out for a sputtering Montreal offense in this third quarter.
Luc Brodeur-Jourdain, the center for the Montreal Alouettes. This snap is low, and normally for a healthy quarterback, not a big deal. Pull it up off your knee. But for a guy who's got a really bad left shoulder, there had to be pain running through that shoulder on that, where Calvillo has to go down and grab it like that low, and then was off on the throw.
7th 2 and out of the night for the Alouettes, who had 7 on Canada Day in the season opener at McMahon. Sean White to kick to Larry Taylor. Fields it and steps out.
Nice kick.
At the 33. 43-yard punt. 1 million pounds in 2012.
Let's do it. 1 sack for Torrey Davis for Calgary, who's been huge in the middle, literally and figuratively.
LaMarcus Coker running back, and he gets to the edge. Billy Parker, the corner, brings him down.
Important series for the Montreal Alouettes here. They've lost a little of the momentum. It seems in this half that look like LaMarcus Coker is going to limp to the sideline. In this second half, that the field has tilted in Calgary's favor. So Mark Trestman needs a big stand right here on 2nd and medium from his defense, led by Jeff Reinbold. Again, they're going to bring Carisse Bear down from the safety spot.
6 for Coker. Corners comes back in, 2nd and 4.
No one in the middle.
Corners helping with blocking, and Porzani has it off his fingertips, incomplete. Billy Parker there defensively for Montreal.
And this may be just that Kevin Glenn hasn't had as many reps with the #1 team, but with Carisse Bear here, occasionally he's been dropping back after the ball's been snapped, but he doesn't do it this time. He goes off in this direction, and look at the void. There's a big void down the middle, but no receivers adjust to it. The veteran quarterback, you're going to have an audible and a receiver going right down the middle with no safety in the middle.
Short kick by Maver. Guy losing yards again on the return. Carl McCartney is there. Loss of 5 after a 36-yard punt.
This is how it works together. We talked about the importance of that defensively for Montreal in that series to get a 2-and-out. They did that. Mission accomplished. Now can Calvillo take that little spark of momentum and build on it with a few first downs here, try and tilt the field back the other way.
Third game of the first 12 days for both these teams. Montreal's got Hamilton next at Ivor Wynne. Calgary will be at home next week against Saskatchewan, and Calvillo is dropped for the 4th time on the night. Brian Bulkey.
And Chris, this time there were offensive linemen with their hands in the air after this sack wondering what happened. And this is just uncharacteristic of an O-line that came in after 2 games giving up just 1 sack and 72 passing plays. And a veteran group that has been so good throughout the years.
And against a team that only had 2 sacks and was ranked last in that category last year. 2nd and 13, downfield it goes, and tight coverage.
And Anthony Calvillo took a monster hit again.
And was it Jawan Simpson that gets to the quarterback this time?
I think it was Mayo, 42 right here. Or was it 12?
That's Deron Mayo.
It was.
It
was Mayo, and he clean hit. Calvillo just now getting off the field.
Clock ticks down in this 3rd quarter. Good boot by White, and Larry Taylor trying to break loose.
Good contain.
Seth Williams right there to bring him down, and they have done a much better job tonight.
Perfect cover. Perfect, sorry Chris, perfect contain from Seth Williams. That's how you play contain on a punt cover team, and it's all about patience, and he was right there, stood his ground, didn't get sucked into the middle, and didn't allow Taylor outside.
Damon Washington ripped up that Montreal special teams unit last week, and Mark Trussman underscored how important it was to be improved in that area.
And your reward for punt cover team playing it perfectly, get out there on defense. These are small rosters.
Final play, 3rd quarter, barring a penalty. A lot of time for Glenn, and a downfield McDaniel. He's got it. What a cutback on Chip Cox, who wrestles him down at the 36. But it's been a big second half for Marquay McDaniel, a 38-yard pickup. And we're through 3 quarters. Calgary, a 5-point lead. Big 3rd quarter for the Stamps, who outscored the Alouettes 10-0 and have the lead.
Great Calgary defense. That time of possession is now starting to favor the Calgary Stampeders in a big way. Remember, Kevin Glenn started in the 1st quarter just 2 of 8 and has thrown for over 150 yards in the 3rd quarter. So Glenn is back on track, and it looks like this Montreal defense may be tiring a little bit.
Engineered that 10-play touchdown drive, and just thinking back to their first meeting, Alouettes still have not scored a second-half point against Calgary in 3 quarters. Marquay McDaniel's catch of 38 yards gives the Stampeders a 1st down in Alouette territory. And Glenn has another completion to Robbie Bryant, who slips down the sidelines for some extra yards, and then will draw a flag on a late hit.
I stand corrected on Kevin Glenn's yardage in the third, but it's very impressive either way. 11 of 13, 130 yards. We'll see what this penalty is. An extra push on the sideline there. 130 yards, not 150 from Kevin Glenn. 11 of 13 in the third.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 23. Half distance goal, first down.
So Seth Williams gets the major called, 15 yards, and remember that 80% total that Mark Trestman talked about.
Well, here's the interesting thing about a small roster in the Canadian Football League, I believe, is that Seth Williams had that great punt cover and then was in that play with Marquay McDaniel over the middle. And then there, again, a little bit of a lack of concentration at the end. I'm just wondering if he's fatigued after that kick and made a couple decisions that have hurt his team, and a challenge flag from the Montreal bench.
Oh, Gerald Brown heading to the room as well. Holding his side as the veteran goes to the bench.
And as he went to the bench, I also saw Adrian McPherson on the stationary bike. Looks like he was trying to loosen up.
So they're not challenging the penalty, but wondering if there's McPherson loosening up. We're wondering if Mark Trestman or somebody upstairs
Montreal challenging the previous play of a catch inbounds.
felt that Robbie Bryant might have stepped out before controlling that pass.
Lots going on. Well, there's the challenge, whether or not that was a catch by Bryant on the sideline, and whether or not his foot was out of bounds.
It's his back heel on the white line. Officials right there. The head linesman Boris Felchuk.
Here's another angle.
He's okay there. Or is he?
But he looked like
secured the pass or not.
I was going to say, Chris, it looked like he made control. May have. Now he's out, but he has control of the ball. So
the question is, when did he have control of the ball?
Exactly. Because he does look out there.
Looks like he controls it there with his foot in, repositions it and steps out. Different angle. Might not be the heel. Is it the toe that he turns out a little bit? Somebody had a keen eye upstairs to even suggest the challenge.
He's in there. And does he have control when that toe swivels around and steps on the white line?
Now that would mark him out at the 30, but they did take the 15-yard penalty anyway.
After review, the player in fact did catch the ball, but had stepped out at the 30-yard line. Therefore, that penalty will be applied at the 30. Since Montreal had challenged the play as a catch inbounds, and we found another aspect of the replay aspects to review, and they are correct, they will not be challenged or charged with this challenge. So they will receive their challenge back.
And all it means is the ball comes back 2 yards. Mark Trestman isn't in agreement. The ball had been placed on the 12. catch made. Stepping out at the 30.
Okay.